Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, Corin's Crafts. Well, I hope you liked the first video. If you did, here's the second video. Now, as I said, I'm going to keep it quite simple to begin with. So I'm just going to show you how to make this floating strips card. Really easy technique. Can you see how they're all separated and they're floating above the card? Really lovely card, very simple, but you could make it as complicated. We could be adding extra things on the front, but I just thought for now we'd keep it simple, and this is what we'd make. So carry on watching, and here's the video. Hello my crafty friends, and welcome back to video 2 from Corin's Crafts YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed number 1. Have you subscribed? Have you clicked on notifications? And please don't forget to give me a comment. Right, I did say the first couple of cards would be nice and simple, and here is card number 2. And it's all about doing the floating strip technique. So it's lovely. I'm just using a little bit of an embossing folder in the background to add a little bit of interest. Now this is really easy card to make. Again, keeping it simple. Like I said though on the introduction, if you want to put like loads of lovely flowers across here and a swirl or an embellishment, you could. It's entirely up to you. So you can go as complicated or as simple as you want. So to start to make this card, you need a strip of paper, it goes that way up, that's going to be your floating strips. Now this looks lovely in alternate colours of plain paper, but I thought I would use a patterned paper. I've also got, if you see, a piece of acetate. I've got my construction acetate because that's the one I really like. Now on the back of here, I don't know if you can see, I've just put some adhesive sheets. So yeah, this is what to me this is the easiest way. You can use you could use glue or anything, but I think adhesive sheets is the easiest. Now I want my strips to come along horizontally, that's the right word. So I'm going to start from the top, and I'm just going to pop this in, and I'm going to have different size strips. So my first strip I'm going to have as a 3/4 inch strip, so I'm going to pop it like that. You could do this on a paper trimmer or a guillotine. Now the only thing you need to do is try and remember to keep them in order. So after a 3/4 inch strip, I think I might have a 1 inch strip, so I'm just lining it up to the 1 inch. You can see that's the 1 inch line on there. Paper trimmer makes it so easy. So after a 3/4 and a 1 inch, let's go for a 1/2 inch strip. This is really easy doing it like this and just putting them to the side so that you've got them like that. Let's go next to a 3/4 inch strip again. Oops, just knocked it. Don't have to be exact measurements, they can be random or however you want them to be. So let's go for a 1 inch strip, which is, oops, just there. And then I'm going to leave this one because I don't think I'll use all of that, so that'll work perfectly. So the next thing you need to do is get your acetate. So let's make sure I've kept those in the right order, and I'm just going to pop them onto my acetate. So I'm going to use my mat to make sure I get the first one straight. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a little bit of tape, and I'm just going to tape this onto my glass mat just because it moves. So I'm just going to tape it onto my glass mat anywhere that you want. Have I still got this in the right order? I think I have, yep. So I'm just going to turn these over, get my poker tool. I put the adhesive on in 2 pieces just to try and use up some bits that I had. So I'm going to take the first one, and I'm going to put it, I've done these, I'll do it this way around. So I'm going to line up the first one with a straight line. Oops, let's come further down. Nice. I think these are going to go off the edge here, but that's absolutely fine. We can line it up. There we go. Onto my acetate. Then I'm going to get my next one. Oh, only one at a time, please. Take off the adhesive backing. There we go. Actually, it comes off quite easily in 2 pieces. Like that. Make sure it's lining up. Now, then we just leave gaps. Now, I didn't leave very big gaps on my last one, and I'm actually going to leave slightly bigger gaps so that you can see more of a float. I'm not going to necessarily do exact sizes, but I'm just trying to make sure that the picture lines up, or the pattern, whatever you want to call it. So that one was the next one. So let's come off on here. 1, and 2. Like I say, we're going to keep it simple to begin with, and then we'll get to be more, we'll get a bit more complicated as we go. Now, because I'm leaving a bigger gap, actually, I probably won't need as many strips, so I'll try not to go too big a gap. Otherwise, we'll not use many strips at all. Keeping taking off the back and the next strip. Just making sure it runs parallel because it's double-sided adhesive, so once it's stuck, it's stuck. And then the next one, and then I've got one more, and I can stick that one. No, that didn't go that way around, did it? It went that way around. Oops, it caught. There we go. Don't worry, that bit won't be visible, so let's just do line up with a little gap. I can also line up on the straight line underneath. And then my final one just comes on here. Now, if you actually do it with plain paper, it's actually probably easier because you've not got patterns to line up. So then we're going to do the last one just there, like that. There we go. So there we've got our strips. I can take that off now. Now, I hadn't actually taken the backing, protective backing off my acetate, so I'm going to take that off now. There we go. Right, now, if you have got what we call deep dish dies, then have a go. Don't worry about that, it's not totally safe. That would work brilliantly. But I've got, oh, I didn't need that last one. I've got just regular dies, and that's going to work equally as well. Let's get all those bits out of the way. We can do that. So what I'm going to do is I quite like having an even-ish on the top and the bottom. So you can see I've got less strips on this one. I think it was possibly a bigger piece of pattern paper I started with anyway. So I'm taping it down where I want it. So I've got the nice pink bit in there as well. Actually, does it go that way up? No, it doesn't. It definitely goes that way up, but that doesn't matter at this point. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my die cutting machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my cutting plate. Because I'm going through acetate and it's not a deep dish die, I've put my metal cutting shim underneath, plastic shim, magnetic shim, and then that one. So let's run that through. Now let me have a look. Has that cut through? I'm not sure yet. We can have a look. Oh yes, that's cut through perfectly. So let's get rid of all of my plates. Now I do find that sometimes, because you are going through your acetate, it might not have, see, it's cut through, but it might just need a little bit of help to come out. So if it does, look, I'm just popping it out. There we go. It's cut because it's acetate. And there we go. Actually, I like that one much better. We could have some real crafty fun with this piece that's left over as well. Oh, I might keep that and come up. We might have a project with that later. So let me keep that piece. So this is my floating strips. Don't those look effective? I really love those. Now, you could put those straight on to a white background, and you might think that would give you a really good effect because you can really see the white through. I'm actually going to do it, got a little bit of it, I'm going to do it onto pink, and then I'm going to do it onto black as well, because I do think black and colour works really well. So that's going to be my effect. But when I put it onto the white, I found that white was just a tad plain. So again, as I said to you, I've had such a sort out in my craft room recently. I've got my lovely stencil. No, it's not a stencil, it's an embossing folder. Again, I don't know where this has come from. It's one that I've had a while. It's just a regular 2D embossing folder. So I'm going to pop that through there. Now, it's a bit bigger than my my A5 plate, so I'm going to stick it through with my original cutting plate. Now look at this, I've got different cutting plates, but it still works. And I'm going to go through with my metal shim just to add a little bit more, because I want plenty of emboss. But doesn't that look beautiful? I'm really loving that. And like I said, we've just done it with a regular die. You don't need anything fancy, but you could have used, excuse the noise, I don't know if you could hear me through all that, you could have used a heart, or whatever shapes you've got. I've seen lots of lovely shapes done on this. It works really well. That was me dropping my plates. Right, doesn't that look lovely? Look at all of that gorgeous emboss. It's not deep, just using that metal shim has added in the extra depth to that. And we're going to pop that. Now you could be doing lots of inking, but I'm not. I'm just going to we're going to not be frightened of using white. One of the things I want people to do is love their white. So just so that you know, we've got 5 1/4 by 6 1/2. 5 1/4 by 6 1/2 is our white sheet. And then I've not gone up by the foot, I've gone up by about 1/8 of an inch rather than 1/4 of an inch. So we're just going to put those. So card blank, again, just made from A4 card, just folded in half. It's the full width of A4 folded in half, and then just trimmed down. So a bit of black, your regular black, we can put that on to there. After we've added on the black, you'll see the pink. I've used the pink out of, I've cut the centre out. That's where I got my matte and layer from. My pink was a bit too precious. I had plenty of black. The pink was a bit too precious. I'm using my Collall All Purpose again, just because that's what I like to use. Just burnish that down. Can you see? Ever such a fine border, but I just think that works for this effect. And then again, make sure I've got it the right way around. Actually, I like the deboss side just as much. Now, because we've got all of that emboss, I just need to make sure there's enough glue on there just to get into all of those nooks and crannies. And we can put that one on to there, just like that. So let's bring that down so I can see what I'm doing. We can put it back up in a minute. There we go. Now again, you saw me do this in the last video. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a break. Now there's no way I am strong enough to flatten out the embossing with a brayer. I'm not concerned about that. You know, we talk about don't die cut embossed surfaces because you'll flatten it. My brayer is not going to flatten that one bit. There we go. How about that? We've still got my card the right way up. Yep. So the next thing I'm going to do, oops, got some tape stuck, is I'm going to stick these on. Now you could put these on, but I lift these, but I'm not. I'm going to put these nice and flat onto my card because that's what I want. So I'm going to try and do equidistant sides and top, obviously a bigger one at the bottom, so roughly equidistant. Pop that down, and with the pink straight on the top again, using our Collall glue, and that's going to go on there just like, oh, now that's going to annoy me, my linen grain wasn't straight. I like my linen grain to be straight. There we go. Oops, let's just keep there. There we are. Really, really simple card. So the next thing we need to do is our floating technique. So to do that, we're just going to come in with a little bit of foam tape. So any foam tape that you've got, all you have to remember is it has to be narrower than your narrowest strip. So yeah, that's the only rule that you've got with this. So put one on there, one, and you don't have to put some behind everyone. I just want to make sure it's nice and secure. Put that last piece, and then I'm going to pop, oh, it's too big. There we go. One down there. Oh, that's going to show. Sort that in a minute. And one up there. And that's going to show. So let's just make sure. I don't want those to show at all. So let's trim those off. And I think that one's going to be a little bit visible. That's the word I was looking for. Right. So you can see now this is floating. So let's take the back off the foam tape. One. All of those. If you don't want to take the backs off all the foam tapes, I've always been an advocate, you don't need to, as long as it's there to support. You could take 3 off and leave the alternate 2 with the back on the tape. It would be fine, but do it properly. Now if you are if you do struggle with positioning, then all I would say that you can do with this is just get a little bit of your tacky glue, your PVA glue, whatever you use, and put that on there. That was a little bit watery on there because it'd been upside down on a cloth. Come on, you're coming out. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to turn that over. Now remembering which way round that went. I think that's definite. Turn the card around. Pop that back. Pop that in the middle. Let me lean over so I can see it's central. Now, have I got my line straight? No. I need my lines a bit straighter than that. There we go. And then press it down. How beautiful is that? And can you see you've got those gaps and it just looks like it's floating, but it's got the acetate in the middle. I love that. Now, the next thing I said I'm going to use is some butterflies. Now, these are a blast from the past. It's my Duo Dies Butterfly Trio. So I have just taken one of those and I've just cut it out of regular white card. Again, nothing fancy. I've got a little bit left in there, a little pip left in there. And this went through my smallest die cutting machine. All I'm going to do is I'm going to just give it a little bit of a curve to the edges, bend that up. Let's just squeeze the glue to make... Oh, I got stuck with my glue. Where are we? Oh, always the way, isn't it? Just as you want the glue. I just want a tiny little bit of glue. Ah, there we go. Is that coming out? There we are, it's coming out now. Little bit of glue, controlled glue, just down there. And then that is going to go onto my strips. Now, if you wanted to do a butterfly of a different colour, then you could put it down at the bottom. Now, the next thing I want to use, again, something that I've had in my stash for ages, is these Creative Expressions worded sentiment sheets. They come like this. So you get 2 white and 2 black. They're all the same in each pack. So I have just trimmed out "Have a wonderful day." This is just so much easier than having to stamp them if you want them nice and quickly. And the great thing is with the white ones, you can colour them. So I'm just going to pop that on here. Actually, you could colour this. If I wanted a coloured ink, I could just run over that with my ink pad and I'd have that coloured. So that's going to just sit on there. And then the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add some pearls. Now, it's entirely up to you how you add your pearls. I'm just using my, gosh, can you say Pinflair pearl one? This one is well loved. I think I need to get in touch with Christine and get some more of these. I love these. Always test it out onto a little bit of scrap first. There we go. It helps you get your eye in as well, just to be able to see how to do them. And then I'm just going to pop a few liquid pearl drops on here. Now, the only thing is, if you're going to use liquid pearl drops, you've then got to leave it to dry. Do not touch it for a while. So I'm going to just put a few on the background. I like putting them in the centres of the flowers because it just holds them. It acts like a little cup. It's a nice way to do it quite randomly around there. And you know what? That is all I would do. And that, I think, is a beautiful floating strip technique card. I hope you enjoyed that. Please, as I say, subscribe to the channel, Corin's Crafts. And if you like it, click on the little bell for the notifications and leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you think. We'll start getting a little bit more tricky with the next card. Until next time, see you soon. Bye.